Emotions, we all got them. But what you gonna do? I mean, the negative ones, you don't even have to say anything about those. The positive ones, those are awesome until you're afraid that they're gonna go away. Are they gonna last? And what are they based on? Something comes in and swipes them right under your feet. But, there's something we can do. So if you don't want to get dragged by your emotions anymore, stay tuned. Welcome. My name is Alana with Naturalanna Says, and I'm here to help people live their best lives by building their emotional intelligence. If you like what you see, feel free to like, subscribe, comment below, and stay tuned. We're gonna get right into it. So emotions, we all have them. And personally, I used to think they were a really, really inconvenient necessity because they were just coming by, just wreaking a little bit of havoc, or more havoc than I wanted them to. But fortunately, there's a way to deal with them. And there's three things that you really have to understand about emotions in order to be able to move forward and figure out how to befriend them, okay? So first one, emotions are messages, okay? So they don't come around just to torment us. They're here because there's something they're trying to communicate. They don't show up for no reason. There's something behind them. And have you heard the phrase, don't shoot the messenger? That's exactly what it is when we get really frustrated with how we're feeling as opposed to recognizing why they're there. And the reason being, they want to tell us something. And maybe one day we can figure out how to sit down and listen and say, hey, what is this emotion really trying to communicate to me? So don't shoot your emotions. They're neutral. So if you put your guns down, you might realize something. All right, on to number two. All right, so point two, emotions show up with some sort of physical manifestation or physical experience. So, we typically have words for it: happy, sad, angry, frustrated. And as a former therapist, I know that sometimes our vocabularies can feel a little bit limited around how we express them. And while the words for it are important because they can help us be precise, what's even more important is to recognize how something feels in your body. Because emotions, if you break it down, energy in motion, okay? And so energy is always moving. So if the energy is in your body and not allowed to move out, it's gonna move within your system and there's gonna be some sort of impact. Now that's a video for another day, a bigger topic, but it's important to know emotions have physical manifestations. So you wanna know in your head, okay, how am I feeling? But it's even more important to bring it down and say, how does that feeling manifest itself in my body? All right, on to number three. All right, so point number three, emotions come from your mind. Have you ever heard the phrase, thoughts become things? So that's exactly what it is. However, sometimes, or a lot of times, people interpret that as your conscious thoughts become things. Now, your conscious thoughts can have an impact, but did you know that they're only 5% of what's actually going on in the background? 95% of that is subconscious stuff. It's programming. It's just running in the background. Beliefs you had, things you've picked up over time. And a lot of times we don't even realize it, or we realize it in a really marginal way, but that's what's really, really driving the ship. And so it's important to understand that all emotions manifest from your mind, whether conscious or unconscious. More than likely it's coming from that subconscious space. I wrote a book about looking at some of the thoughts and beliefs that we have carried on from childhood and how they're playing into adulthood. And it's actually available on Amazon. So I'm actually gonna put the link in the description box below. Feel free to check it out. So that was so simple, right? So why even do a whole video? Well, the reality is that a lot of solutions in life are simple, but sometimes we think simple means easy. And it can be a little bit frustrating to think something that's causing me so much distress may have a simple solution. Maybe not an easy solution, but a simple one. And sometimes the simplest path will get you exactly where you're trying to go. So those three concepts about emotions underlie a very, very important framework for understanding emotions and hopefully help you figure out how to better understand them and maybe even befriend them to the point that they can begin to work for you. So much easier to hate something that you don't understand because as humans, we love to understand, or we love to think that we understand something. And so when something doesn't make sense and it's causing a problem, we tend to associate a negative meaning with that. We've decided that this thing is problematic, this person is problematic for X, Y, and Z reason. And so with that, we justify our continued frustration and hatred with it. But sometimes it boils down to true understanding, which may get to things that we may not always see or understand or want to realize about a thing. That softens up that sort of thing. Does that make sense? Are there any other foundational things you want to add to it? Other things that you might want to know a little bit more about? Just let me know in the comments below. You can also find more information and resources online at naturallannasays.com, or you can find me on Instagram at naturallannasays. So have a wonderful one. Thanks for joining me for this video. See you in the next one.